This is Mac OS Ken.
Apple's ads are off Twitter for now. Nothing goes well for Nothing Chat. And Talkin' Tim talks Tim. It is Monday, the 20th of November, 2023. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken. Brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSCan. Apple has apparently pulled its ads from Twitter. According to a report from the New York Times, the Cupertino company joins and is joined by Disney, IBM, Lionsgate, and Paramount in making the move. This amid concerns about a rise of anti-Semitic messaging on the microblogging service. But which straw was the straw? Last week, according to a report from the Times, a guy on Twitter accused Jewish people who are facing anti-Semitism amid the Israel-Hamas war of pushing the exact kind of dialectic hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. Following that, and another incendiary accusation or two, Twitter owner Elon Musk responded to that tweet saying, "You have said the actual truth." So that could have been the straw for Apple, though there was a whole other bundle with which to contend. The same New York Times post says last Thursday, IBM pulled about $1 million in planned Twitter ads for the rest of the year. According to the piece, the tech company acted after a report last week from Media Matters for America, a left-wing advocacy group, which said ads from companies including Apple and IBM were appearing on Twitter next to posts supporting white nationalism and Nazism. None too pleased was Mr. Musk. A piece from Vanity Fair had Twitter's owner promising on Twitter to file a thermonuclear lawsuit against Media Matters and anyone who colluded with the organization on what Musk called a fraudulent attack on the company. No comment on any of this from Cupertino, by the way. The Times piece points out that Apple has not confirmed the ad pause, which was originally reported by Axios. Seeking to stop what some see as inevitable, Apple is still fighting the third-party App Store sideloading thing in the EU. A piece from Engadget says the Cupertino company is contesting whether it is a gatekeeper under European Union law and thus subject to the EU's Digital Markets Act. According to the report, the legislation allows regulators to designate dominant companies, services, or platforms as gatekeepers or big and powerful enough to act as a bottleneck between businesses and customers, which it can then fine for prohibited behavior. Confirmed late last week on Twitter by the EU Court of Justice, Apple's move is not surprising. We heard at the beginning of the week last week that Apple planned to argue against the Gatekeeper appellation for both the App Store and iMessage. Microsoft and Google have reportedly accepted their DMA designations, according to Engadget, while Meta and ByteDance are contesting theirs, along with Apple. No word on next steps for the Gatekeeper appeals. Tap to Pay is taking to the skies. Alaska Airlines issued a press release late last week saying the service is coming soon to an aisle near you. The airline's cabin crew already uses iPhone for seating, meal delivery, drink orders, and other in-flight amenities. Now the airline says it is partnering with Stripe to be the first airline to bring Apple's Tap to Pay on iPhone technology to flight. Describing the service to customers, the release says when it's time to pay for your beverage or snack pack, simply hold your iPhone or Apple Watch to pay with Apple Pay, your contactless credit or debit card, or other digital wallet near the flight attendant's iPhone. The payment will be securely completed via NFC technology. Alaska Airlines says the service is currently rolling out on select flights. It's expected to be available across the entire fleet in the next few months. Apple's getting ready to jemmy the lock on another car brand. Mac Rumors says the iPhone and Apple Watch maker is prepping support for digital car keys in the wallet for certain models of Mini. Sort of surprising this hasn't happened already. Mini's hip, Apple's hip, and Apple's already in bed with Mini parent company BMW. In fact, that parent was actually the first car maker to support digital car keys in wallet way back in 2020. The feature will let users lock, unlock, and start their vehicles using a pass stored in the Wallet app, according to the report. Tell you what really bums me out, there's a story about planes, there's a story about automobiles, it's the week of Thanksgiving, and I couldn't find a story about trains. Well, nothing kills iMessage like bad security. And so nothing has killed an iMessage bridge over bad security. Nothing makes a fairly fancy Android phone called Nothing Phone. Last week, the phone maker announced plans to bring iMessage-compatible chats to its latest phone, complete with those soothing blue bubbles. Before somebody can access iMessage on Nothing Chats, said a piece from Engadget last week, they must first sign into their Apple ID through Sunbird's platform. Okay, who is Sunbird, and I'm sorry, what? According to the Engadget piece, Nothing Chats builds on Sunbird, a unified messaging platform that has been available in closed beta since the end of last year. Sunbird allows users to access all of their chats, including iMessage, from a single interface. So, all I have to do is sign into that with my Apple ID. What could possibly go wrong? About as much as you might fear. Nothing Chat was supposed to go live on the Google Play Store, and it did. And it's gone because it was a privacy mess. A piece from Apple Insider says Nothing and Sunbird pulled the shockingly insecure iMessage bridge, but only after it was discovered that not only did Sunbird log and retain messages, vCards, and more, but that retained user data could also be downloaded by others. The piece goes on to say suspicions were raised about the app within days, including its seeming lack of encryption and the sending of login credentials over the internet using plain text HTTP. I will say the Apple Insider article is funny if you have a dark sense of humor. Made me laugh. Serious security nightmare. And finally today, want to hear Tim Cook talk about Tim Cook? Point yourself to YouTube. 9 to 5 Mac says Apple's somewhat secretive CEO did a 45-minute sit-down with singer and podcaster, apparently, Dua Lipa. Topics talked were said to include his modest upbringing, his 12 years at IBM before Apple, thoughts on Steve Jobs, the changes coming out publicly in 2014 brought to the tech world, changes he thinks the tech world still needs to see, the environment, artificial intelligence, Cook's commitments to equality and education, and whether people are spending too much time staring at their phones. The interview is out there now. You can catch the whole thing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, BBC Sounds, and, as previously mentioned, on YouTube. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSCan. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macoscan.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.